Hey, what's up, world? Welcome to Snack Size, the podcast that will drag you into your most fabulous life. I'm your host, Lala Luzious, also known as the snack of the Twin Cities. I decided for myself that I can be whatever I want to be, so I decided to be a drag queen. And if I can live my dreams, you can too. The time has come to believe in yourself enough to turn your ideas into more than mere words. And no matter what you are doing in life or where you want to go, I want to help you get there fabulously. Our 10 minutes starts now. Hey snacks! This is episode 6 of Snack Size. Today, we are going to discuss a topic that many people struggle with on their path to a happy and successful life. But before we jump into that, I have some really exciting news. I ran a contest on my social media where 2 of my listeners could win an Alyssa Edwards eyeshadow palette, and I have the names of the 2 lucky listeners who won. Drumroll, please. Congratulations to Joy and Alexander. I've already sent you both an email, so just reply and I'll get that right in the mail to you. By the way, follow me on Instagram at Lala Luzious, and you can get in on the next giveaway. So this episode is about fear and rejection, 2 common roadblocks that you may find on your journey to a happy and fulfilled life. Both of these feelings tend to limit people from going after what they want and from taking risks in fear that it won't work out the way they want it to. I know this from firsthand experience in my own life because I am a part of a group of people that deal with fear and rejection almost every day. What group of people am I talking about? The group of people I'm referring to is successful people. Successful people didn't become successful overnight, and it's usually the case that to find their success, they had to look fear and rejection in the face and move past it. They overcame the fear of taking a risk, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, and pursued their goals. Sometimes things work out swimmingly, and sometimes they don't. Either way, if you don't put yourself out there, you won't ever know what will happen. For example, as a drag queen whose goal is to ultimately entertain a room full of people, I get very nervous about my choices when it comes to my performances. There is that inner saboteur that is always asking, will your audience like this performance? Is it even funny? Will they understand it? Something I had to learn was to quiet this voice and not operate out of fear. I never want to let fear define the art that I am producing. So for you, you must remember that your fears are not in any way an indicator of your ability or potential. All it means is that you care about something enough not to let it fail. Furthermore, if you don't have times when you are fearful, then you are probably pursuing something your heart isn't in, and you'll want to reevaluate what you truly want from your life. And if you are fearful, let's take this episode and talk about some of the ways you can overcome it so that you can get to living your happy and fulfilled life. I want to let you in on a little secret about fear and rejection. When you have these emotions, it can often feel like you are the only one going through it. You are worried about what will happen if you take a risk and what people will think of you if it fails. The secret is that everyone feels fear and rejection in life. It's a natural part of being a human being, and from that perspective, you aren't ever alone in your feelings. Fear can sometimes even feel paralyzing. Some studies even say that fear can kill you. However, millions of people over hundreds of years have survived and overcome fear, and it's likely that you will too. But what sometimes doesn't survive fear is people's dreams and goals for their life. So if you are going to fear anything, it shouldn't be the fear of being rejected or fear of failing or taking a risk. You should fear never beginning to live. When we think about what it takes to overcome fear, remember that as humans, we have a natural instinct for survival. So you will always think of reasons not to take a chance than reasons to go for it. The key here is not to put weight on what you have to lose, but rather what you have to gain. This is because the risk you are about to take just might be the thing that takes you where you want to go, or even to places that you never imagined. And even if that doesn't happen, And there will be many times that it won't. There will always be things you'll gain from trying. Every time you confront your fears, it becomes easier to push through the next time it happens. Ultimately, you will be braver, smarter, and more resilient when your dreams do come true. I believe that the right things always find you, but you may have to fight for them. And part of that fight is overcoming your fears and taking the risks to chase your dreams. Another important part of facing fear is the ability to be vulnerable. We often equate vulnerability to weakness. For example, if you don't lock your door when you leave your house, you are going to be vulnerable to a burglary. Or if you don't take care of yourself, your body is vulnerable to getting sick. But in the perspective of growing, changing, and achieving, vulnerability is actually a strength. Writer and researcher Dr. Brené Brown says in her book, Daring Greatly, vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, accountability, and authenticity. If we want greater clarity in our purpose or deeper and more meaningful lives, vulnerability is the path. Taking a risk means being vulnerable. Own your vulnerability for the complicated, messy, very human quality that it is. Keeping in mind that it is one of the best things about you. If being vulnerable is something that you struggle with, take some time to think about why that is. If you were anything like how I used to be, if a situation needed me to be vulnerable, I would clench up, shut people out, and put up an emotional wall. Every time I did this, I thought I was protecting myself. And while I certainly was protecting myself from getting hurt or being rejected, I was also shutting out opportunities and experiences that could potentially benefit me as well. Part of being vulnerable is knowing that you will have to be open to good and bad things on your journey. But you also must believe that you are strong enough to handle both of them when they happen. It doesn't matter if there is disappointment or rejection. You have to trust that you can and will make it to where you want to be anyway. This is how you release the fear of being vulnerable and allow your goals and dreams to manifest in your life. Everything we do is driven by three things. The first is thoughts, the second is feelings, and the last is actions. The first two have more influence than the third. What I mean is that it is easy to let your thoughts and feelings rule over your actions. Today, the feelings we are talking about are fear and rejection, and where most people get stuck is that they let themselves build up more of those feelings than feeling courage or self-worth. As a drag queen, my biggest struggle was with rejection. As I discussed before, I dealt with a lot of it when I decided that I wanted to do drag. So I've come up with a little metaphor to help you with rejection, and since we love snacks, it's all about a vending machine. So let's pretend you are a snack. Take a moment to decide which snack you want to be. Today, I am going to be a delicious Rice Krispie treat. So, you and I are in a vending machine, both looking like delicious snacks, and a customer comes up and picks someone else for their snack. Our natural reaction would be, well, why didn't you pick me? Am I not delicious enough? A second customer comes to the vending machine and picks you. At this point, I might be panicking. Why didn't I get picked? Maybe I'm not in the right spot in this vending machine. Do they even know I'm here? And then, finally, a third customer comes to the vending machine and picks me for their snack. When dealing with rejection, remember that what you want to offer the world may not be for everyone. A lot of people will say no to you, but what matters is the people that say yes. So, instead of thinking, why not me? Be patient. Be focused. Don't doubt what you have. And without a doubt, it is going to be the case that many people will pick you for their snack. To wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with a quote from my favorite author, Maya Angelou. She once said, "What is a fear of living? It's being preeminently afraid of dying. It is not doing what you came here to do out of timidity and spinelessness. The antidote is to take full responsibility for yourself, for the time you take up and the space you occupy. If you don't know what you're to do, then just do some good. In light of this quote, I want to discuss one more fear, and that is the fear of the unknown. If you are someone who doesn't know what they want in life, that is 100% okay. Not knowing sometimes seems scary, but it doesn't have to be if you commit to exploring what your happy and fulfilled life looks like. If you want some help, remember you can always email me at lala@snacksizepodcast.com. We are all in this journey together, so one thing you don't ever have to fear is that you are alone. Until next time, see you later, Snack. Hey Snack, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, you can get every episode of Snack Size on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Let's keep the conversation going. If you have questions or feedback, don't be afraid to say hello at lala@snacksizepodcast.com. And if you want to support my podcast, head on over to paypal.me/snacksizepodcast. Until next time, go be fabulous.